Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishna. Letters of Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake, onward. I only tell you this, that whoever reads this letter will imbibe my spirit. Have faith, onward. Swami Vivekananda. Letter number 62, continued. Similarly, these man gods show what the Hindu religion is. They show the character, the power, and the possibilities of that racial tree which counts culture by centuries and has borne the buffets of 1,000 years of hurricane and still stands with the unimpaired vigor of eternal youth. Shall India die? Then from the world all spirituality will be extinct, all moral perfection will be extinct, all sweet soul sympathy for religion will be extinct, all ideality will be extinct, and in its place will reign the duality of lust and luxury as the male and female deities, with money as its priest, fraud, force, and competition its ceremonies, and the human soul its sacrifice. Such a thing can never be. The power of suffering is infinitely greater than the power of doing. The power of love is infinitely of greater potency than the power of hatred. Those that think that the present revival of Hinduism is only a manifestation of patriotic impulse are deluded. First, let us study the quaint phenomenon. Is it not curious that whilst under the terrific onset of modern scientific research, all the old forts of Western dogmatic religions are crumbling into dust, whilst the sledgehammer blows of modern science are pulverizing the porcelain mass of systems whose foundation is either in faith or in belief or in the majority of oaths of church synods. Whilst Western theology is at its wit's end to accommodate itself to the ever-rising tide of aggressive modern thought, whilst in all other sacred books the texts have been stretched to their utmost tension under the ever-increasing pressure of modern thought, and the majority of them are broken and have been stored away in lumber rooms, whilst the vast majority of thoughtful Western humanity have broken asunder all their ties with the church and are drifting about in a sea of unrest. The religions which have drunk the water of life at that fountain of light, the Vedas, Hinduism and Buddhism alone are reviving. The restless Western atheist or agnostic finds in the Gita or in the Dhammapada the only place where his soul can anchor. The tables have been turned, and the Hindus who saw through tears of despair his ancient homestead covered with incendiary fire ignited by unfriendly hands now sees, when the searchlight of modern thought has dispersed the smoke, that his home is the one that is standing in all its strength, and all the rest have either vanished or are building their houses anew after the Hindu plan. He has wiped away his tears and has found that the axe that tried to cut down to the roots, the urdhva moolam adhashakam Ashwatham Prahuravyayam, Gita 15th chapter verse number 1 has proved the merciful knife of the surgeon. He has found that he has neither to torture texts nor commit any other form of intellectual dishonesty to save his religion. Nay, he may call all that is weak in the scriptures weak, because they were meant to be so by the ancient sages to help the weak under the theory of Arundhati Darshana Nyaya. Arundhati Darshana Nyaya, footnote. When a bride is brought to the house of her husband for the first time, he shows her a very tiny star called Arundhati. To do this, he has to direct her gaze the right way, which he does by asking her to look at something near and something big in the direction of the star. Example, a branch of a tree. Next, he draws her attention to a large bright star. Observe beyond this branch and so on, till by several steps he succeeds in leading her eyes to the right thing. This method of leading to a subtle object through easy and gradual steps is called Arundhati Nyaya. Thanks to the ancient sages who have discovered such an all-pervading, ever-expanding system of religion that can accommodate all that has been discovered in the realm of matter and all that is to be known, he has begun to appreciate them anew and discover anew that those discoveries which have proved so disastrous to every limited little scheme of religion are but rediscoveries in the plane of intellect and sense consciousness of truths which his ancestors discovered ages ago in the higher plane of intuition and superconsciousness. He has not therefore to give up anything nor go about seeking for anything anyway, but it will be enough for him if he can utilize only a little from the infinite store he has inherited. From the infinite store he has inherited and apply it to his needs, and that he has begun to do and will do more and more. Is this not the real cause of this revival? Young men of Bengal, to you I especially appeal. Brethren, we know to our shame that most of the real evils for which the foreign races abuse the Hindu nation are only owing to us. We have been the cause of bringing many undeserved calumnies on the head of the other races in India. But glory unto God, we have been fully awakened to it, and with His blessings we will not only cleanse ourselves but help the whole of India to attain the ideals preached in the religion eternal. Let us wipe off first that mark which nature always puts on the forehead of a slave, the stain of jealousy. Be jealous of none. Be ready to lend a hand to every worker of good. Send a good thought for every being in the three worlds. Let us take our stand on the one central truth in our religion, the common heritage of the Hindus, the Buddhists and Jains alike, the spirit of man, the Atman of man, the immortal, birthless, all-pervading, eternal soul of man, whose glories the Vedas cannot themselves express, before whose majesty the universe with its galaxy upon galaxy of suns and stars and nebulae is as a drop. Every man or woman, nay, from the highest devas to the worm that crawls under our feet, is such a spirit evoluted or involuted. The difference is not in kind but in degree. This infinite power of the spirit brought to bear upon matter evolves material development, made to act upon thought, evolves intellectuality, and made to act upon itself makes of man a god. First let us be gods and then help others to be gods. Be and make, let this be our motto. Say not, man is a sinner. Tell him that he is a god. Even if there were a devil, it would be our duty to remember God always and not the devil. If the room is dark, the constant feeling and repeating of darkness will not take it away, but bring in the light. Let us know that all that is negative, all that is destructive, all that is mere criticism is bound to pass away. It is the positive, the affirmative, the constructive that is immortal, that will remain forever. Let us say we are and God is, and we are God, Shivoham, Shivoham, and march on. Not matter but spirit, all that has name and form is subject to all that has none. This is the eternal truth the Shrutis preach. All that has name and form is subject to all that has none. This is the eternal truth that Shrutis preach. Bring in the light, the darkness will vanish of itself. Let the lion of Vedanta roar, the foxes will fly to their holes. Throw the ideas broadcast and let the result take care of itself. Let us put the chemicals together, the crystallization will take its own course. Bring forth the power of the Spirit, pour it over the length and breadth of India, and all that is necessary will come by itself. Manifest the divinity within you, and everything will be harmoniously arranged around it. Remember the illustration of Indra and Virochana in the Vedas. Both were taught their divinity, but the Asura, Virochana, took his body for his god. Indra, being a Deva, understood that the Atman was meant. You are the children of Indra, you are the descendants of the Devas. Matter can never be your God, body can never be your God. India will be raised not with the power of the flesh, but with the power of the Spirit. Not with the flag of destruction, but with the flag of peace and love, the garb of the sannyasin. Not by the power of wealth, but by the power of the begging bowl. Say not that you are weak, the Spirit is omnipotent. Look at that handful of young men called into existence by the divine touch of Ramakrishna's feet. They have preached the message from Assam to Sindh, from the Himalayas to Cape Comorin. They have crossed the Himalayas at a height of 20,000 feet over snow and ice on foot, and penetrated into the mysteries of Tibet. They have begged their bread, covered themselves with rags. They have been persecuted, followed by the police, kept in prison, and at last set free when the government was convinced of their innocence. They are now 20, make them 2,000 tomorrow. Young men of Bengal, your country requires it. The world requires it. Call up the divinity within you, which will enable you to bear hunger and thirst, heat and cold, sitting in luxurious homes surrounded with all the comforts of life, and doling out a little amateur religion may be good for other lands, but India has a truer instinct. It intuitively detects the mass. You must give up, be great. No great work can be done without sacrifice. The Purusha himself sacrificed himself to create this world. Lay down your comforts, your pleasures, your names, fame or position, nay, even your lives, and make a bridge of human chains over which millions will cross this ocean of life. Bring all the forces of good together. Do not care under what banner you march. Do not care under what banner you march. Do not care what be your color, green, blue or red, but mix all the colors up and produce that intense glow of white. The color of love. Ours is to work. The results will take care of themselves. If any social institution stands in your way of becoming God, it will give way before the power of Spirit. I do not see into the future, nor do I care to say, but one vision I see clear as life before me, that the ancient Mother has awakened once more, sitting on her throne, rejuvenated, more glorious than ever. Proclaim her to all the world with the voice of peace and benediction. Yours ever in love and labor, Vivekananda. Yours ever in love and labor, Vivekananda. Letter number 62 completed. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.